Today's episode is about your brain and why your brain always wants the best for you. I recently listened to a podcast interview with a famous German neurobiologist. Difficult word. The thing is, some of the stuff he said made me really, really happy because he basically described how my work works. And I thought that's really great. And because he described it, I figured probably it's good if I describe it again too. So today is about neuroplasticity, again, a difficult word, that your brain remembers solutions and how your brain evaluates everything. So neuroplasticity, it's simply said, the brain's ability to change existing networks that it has built through your whole lifetime and build entirely new ones. So everything that is stored in our brain is stored within networks. And these networks are not static. They can change. They can change within themselves. They can also be completely destroyed and rebuilt newly. So the good thing is that we might have heard at some point in our lives something that you can't teach an old dog new tricks, because back in the days people thought you have to learn everything important like languages, facts, and whatsoever's understanding of the world. You have to learn that when you're young, because then your brain has still the capacity. And when you're old, your brain just falls apart. And the thing is, that's not true. It is possible that our brain does fall apart, yes, but as long as we are not sick or our brain gets any type of misfunction, which of course can happen through our lifetime, but as long as that doesn't happen, it doesn't matter if you're 19 or 90. If you do want to learn something new, your brain is completely capable of doing so. If you want to learn a new language or a new instrument or a new art form, whatever it is that you're interested in, you can do that at any point in your life. And what probably just keeps us away is something like, I'm too old for that, or I've never been able to do that before, or that's just how I am. And all of that, sorry to say, is just bullshit. It's not like that. We can relearn everything, and everything that has been put into a network can be changed. And that is what I do with my clients. Because we do have habits and patterns and feelings and beliefs that do limit us. And often we think they are part of us. That's how we are and who we are. And it has been like that for decades. And yeah, it might have been like that for decades, but that doesn't mean that you have to stay like it. If you don't want to stay like it because it bothers you, you can change it. A good example is smoking. And it's just an example because what lies underneath is the same for not just smoking, but also emotional eating, overconsumption of sugar or alcohol, exercise addictions, but also scrolling on our phones, saying yes when we no, perfectionism, control. A lot of patterns or habits that we have created are structurally the same. And that is why when someone says, for example, the smoker, I enjoy smoking, or that's a part of who I am, or I've tried before, I just can't stop, I always start again. You might get the idea that your brain is just that, it made the connection, cigarettes and me, that's a thing, and it's not possible to change. But that is not true. And that goes for everything, not just for the smoker. Our brain remembers solutions. Because whenever we are in our life facing a problem, we do find a solution. And for the brain or for our system, the most important part is survival. That means for the system, as long as you survived, your solution was good. Even if it's not a good one. Like, for example, the cigarette. Most smokers will tell you that the first cigarette, the first breathing in, the cigarette overall, the experience wasn't good. Most people feel sick when they smoke their first cigarette, and for good reasons, because the brain immediately understands there are toxins in that cigarette. Please don't consume it. But the cigarette also gives you a different feeling. First of all, it can numb any underlying emotion, which means when you, for example, are in a situation where you are nervous and you start smoking a cigarette, the cigarette can numb the nervousness. How helpful. Cigarettes, because of that, can give you a new feeling, the one of security, or the feeling that you have something to hold on to, or something stabilizing. So the brain gets the idea, oh, I was in a situation where I felt nervous, but I found a solution. That cigarette really helped. The brain remembers that solution worked. And then it evaluates the cigarette differently. Our brain uses a lot of energy. And that is why it prefers to keep things as simple as possible. Therefore, for everything that we do, see, get to know, it will start evaluating it. And it puts it into three categories. That's the neutral, good, and bad. Before the smoker takes the first cigarette, the cigarette is supposedly neutral because the brain doesn't know what's happening. Or it's maybe even bad because the brain already knows that there are health effects. So it could be bad too. If the smoker now has the positive solution that we talked about earlier, the brain changes the evaluation. Because of that, the cigarette becomes positive, the feeling is positive, the cigarette is framed as a really good solution. So you might think, okay, we are at the mercy of our brains, but no, we are not, because the feeling can be changed. Also for the person who is an emotional eater. The solution was I eat the donut and the donut gave me a good feeling, like, for example, being loved. So the brain thinks, great, donut or the cigarette is good for getting the feeling of being loved or being stable or feeling calm and feeling safe. But it doesn't have to stay like that because there was a different feeling in the first place. For example, for the smoking again, the first impression of the brain was, that's awful, it's toxic, I don't want that. So in a hypnosis session, for example, you could tell the brain, yes, true, you did a great job. You figured out that it is toxic, and it is toxic. So with every cigarette, and I'm not saying that it's a common way to dissolve smoking habits, I'm just saying it's a possibility, that with every cigarette that you're smoking, you taste that awful taste of toxins. When you would always taste that, the feeling of I'm more stable or I'm more calm or whatsoever doesn't occur, then you wouldn't want to smoke. And that is something that you can run in a scenario within your brain. We are so often thinking that we need something from the outside that to give us a certain feeling. But the thing is, that is maybe just a tool, but you don't need that tool because you don't get the feeling from the cigarette. The feeling will always be within you. The cigarette is just something that your brain has now put into place to use as a trigger for the feeling, but the feeling is within you. So just stay with me for a quick example. And if you can, close your eyes for a moment. If you can't, please don't. You can do it with open eyes anyway, but closing your eyes brings the focus more into your body, and that makes it easier to connect with your feelings. So if you take a moment, take deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth, and another one in through your nose and out through your mouth. And then you close your eyes and think of a time in your life when you were truly happy. Whatever comes up to you, try to remember that moment in your life as clearly as you can. Where were you? With whom were you there? What did the place look like? Were there some sounds or smells? What exactly happened? And when you have this scene around you, this moment where you were really happy, where do you feel the happiness in your body? Do you feel it in your brain, your stomach, your heart, your little finger? Where is happiness within your body? Wherever it is for you, you can feel the happiness right here, right now, within your body. Even though you're not in that situation from the past. Even though you're not smoking that cigarette or eating the donut or holding your phone or whatsoever, the feeling is within you. And we can learn to activate these feelings within us. That is something that I do within a hypnosis session. Get rid of all these ideas, this network that the brain put in place to make things super easy. Take these links away, open them up again, change them, make them new, give them a new feeling, and then start again without the need of anything from the outside, because it's already within us. And the most powerful stabilizers for everything are self-worth, self-love, and a deep sense of inner trust. These three are so essential, and they give you so much security anchored within yourselves that external influences become really unimportant to you. And also, these can be worked on and strengthened really, really well. So, self-worth, self-love, and inner trust. Those three are so important, and I love working with them because they make the biggest changes. One important thing to say, not needing something doesn't mean completely avoiding it. It gives you the freedom of choice. If the person wants to do something, they can, but they don't have to. And that means more freedom, more ease.